In this video, I will tell you how to minimize the probability of making careless mistake during your exam. So to do this, I will share my personal system for you to follow during your exam. So I want you to train yourself to get used to this system. Later on, we will directly look into example questions to see how to apply my system onto the questions. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, so the first step of my system is to read the question in two languages. This is to prevent misunderstanding. That means you have to read both English and Bahasa Melayu. So now, diagram 5 shows a semicircle, this OABCD, with center O and a right angle triangle, this one, ADE. So it's given that the length ED equals to 10 and the radius of this semicircle is 6. So now split EAD in radian. Okay, so you read the Bahasa Melayu version yourself. So the second step of my system is to write down any special requirements of the question. You just write it beside the question and write it as huge as possible. For example, this question, you are required to give your answer in radian. So put it down beside the question and put it as huge as possible. This is to remind yourself because during your exam under intensive pressure, you can't totally rely on your brain. So you need to put down the special requirements to remind yourself. So the third step of my system is to solve the question. So now, you want EAD, that means this angle. So this length is 6 plus 6 because this is radius, this is also radius. So it equals to 12 and then this is 10. So you just put tangent theta equals to 10 over 12 and then make sure you put your calculator in radian mode because they want your answer in radian. So this is the value of theta. So after you have solved the question, the fourth step is to look back the questions. This is to double confirm whether you fulfill any special requirements of the questions. A lot of students, they skip this and after they've solved the question, they directly proceed to the next question. So now, I want you to train yourself to look back the question after you solve every question. Because, for example, if there are questions asking for probability, most probably we are required to give our answer in fraction, right? Because probability. But in some cases, they required students to give their answer in percentage. Whenever you see that special requirement, remember to put down the huge percentage symbol beside the question. And a lot of students, they put their final answer as fraction, so they lose their marks there. That's why remember to look back the question to make sure you give your answer in percentage. So now, after you have looked back the question, the fifth step is to repeat the steps above for all the questions until you complete the whole set of the questions. So the sixth step is to check your answer after you have completed the whole set of questions. So to do the answer checking, try your very best to avoid checking your answer by looking at your original steps. Because during exam, you are another you. If you just go through the same steps, it is hard for you to detect any careless mistake you make. So instead, generally there are 3 answer checking methods. The first one is to directly use your calculator to check your answer. For example, those differentiation and integration or simultaneous equation, you can directly insert the equations into your calculator to check whether you get the same answer. So this is the first method of answer checking, which is you use the calculator. And the second method is the reverse thinking method. So for this method, I already explained it in details in this video. So if you don't know about it, make sure you watch this video after this. So this is the second method, reverse thinking. And the third method is that we can use other method to solve this question. And once we get the same answer, that means our answer is correct. So now for this question, to do the answer checking, I use the third method, which is I use another method to get the angle. So to do this, I find what is this angle first. So I use tangent as well, and I get the value of alpha. And after that, the total angle in this triangle is pi radians. So theta equals to pi minus pi over 2 minus alpha. So I get this answer, which is exactly as the one that I calculated before. So from here, I can know that my answer is correct. So next question, we have to find the length of the arc CD, this arc. So to find this arc, what is the formula? S equal to R theta. That means we need to know what is this angle. So I put this angle as beta. We need to know what is this angle. So now we see this is an isosceles triangle. That means this and this has the same length, 6 and 6, because both of them are radius. That means this is theta, this is also theta. So to find this angle, I put it as A. We just have to take pi minus theta, and this is the value of A. And then to find the value of beta, this is a straight line, so beta equals to pi minus A, and I will get the value of beta. So once I know the value of beta, I put it into the formula of the arc length, which is S equal to R beta. So R radius is 6, beta is this value, so I get the answer. So to do the answer checking, again I use another method to get the value of beta. So to do this, first look at this huge triangle, the green color one. So I know this angle is theta. I know this angle is pi over 2. I want to know what is this angle, E. So E equals to pi minus pi over 2 minus theta. This is the value. And then now look at this green color trapezium. I already know what is the value of E. So now I need to know what is this angle. This angle I put it as F. This is a straight line. So F equals to pi minus theta. So this is the value. And since the total angle inside this trapezium is 2 pi, so I want to find beta. So beta equals to 2 pi minus this angle, pi over 2, minus E minus F. So this is the value of beta, and this value is exactly the same as the one I found before using the first method. So from here, I can confirm that my beta value is correct. So since my beta value is correct, as long as I press the calculator correctly, my S value must be correct. So next question. Now I need to find the area of the shaded region, this area. So to find this area, very easy. We just have to take the area of this huge triangle minus the area of this small triangle minus the area of this sector. So I already labeled out all the information. So to know what is the area of this small triangle, right, we need this angle A. Just now we already find it out what is A, right? And also we need to know the area of this sector. So we just use beta. Just now we already calculated this already. So substitute all the information into the equation, and then you will get the area of the shaded region, which is 17.29. So next, to do the answer checking, first you have to spend 1 second to see whether your answer makes sense or not. So just now the answer, which is the area of the shaded region, is 17.29, right? So you have to make sure this value is smaller than the area of this huge triangle. So the area of this huge triangle is 60. So this value is smaller than this value. That means our answer makes sense. So the second step, you have to ensure that the angles A and beta are correct. This angle A and this angle beta are correct. You have to make sure. So to do this, we already checked this angle before using different method, right? Just now I already showed you. You just have to play around with the diagram. So after I ensure the angles are correct, next after I have totaled out all this area, which means I add this area of shaded region plus the area of this sector plus the area of this small triangle. After I total up these three areas, I must get back 60, which is the area of this huge triangle. So this is how you should do the answer checking. So next question. Diagram 6a shows the front view of a door. So this is the door. So BAC is part of the graph. BAC, this curve. So this is the curve with equation this. So A is the highest point from DE. So this is the highest point from DE. That means DE will be our x-axis. Okay, so find the surface area of the door. So now since A is the highest point, that means at A, at this point, the y coordinate will be maximum. That means at A, at the maximum point, dy dx equals to 0. So we do the differentiation and we find out at the maximum point, x equals to 0. That means point A lies on y-axis. So now, this is our y-axis, this is our x-axis. We want to know what is the area of the door. The yellow color part is the door. So actually, this is just the area under the curve. So to find the area under the curve, we do the integration about the x-axis. So to do this, we need to know what is the upper and lower limit. You see this point for B and C, the question already tell you it is 8.5 feet from DE. That means the y coordinate of B and C is 8.5. So you just have to substitute this y value into this curve equation to get what is your x value. So from here, I know that the x value is plus minus sub3. So here is positive, here is negative sub3. So next, we just do integration to find what is the area under the curve. We put down the limit and do the integration. So we get the answer here. So to do the answer checking, first you have to check your limit. So to do this, we have to use the reverse thinking method, which is we substitute these two values into this curve equation and make sure we get back y equals to 8.5. And this is the same as the value given in the question. So we get back 8.5, 8.5. That means our limits are correct. So the second step is to check whether we did the integration correctly. So to do this, directly use your calculator. So you press integrate and then you key in the formula 9 minus fraction. If you want to key in x, you just press alpha and this. Okay, and then square, and then below will be 6. And then you press right to insert the lower limit, and then you press right to insert the upper limit equals to, this will be our answer. So next question. Diagram 6b shows a graph of curve y equals to gx, this is the curve gx, and a straight line fx, this is the straight line fx. So given this, on the diagram, shade the region represented by this. This is actually the area under the curve gx. And the area is about the x-axis because we can see dx here. That means this is the area above the x-axis. And the upper and lower limit is h and n0. So this is the area, which is 6. So next, find the area in terms of m for the region bounded by y-axis, y equals to gx and y equals to fx. So this region is actually this yellow color part. How do we know? You just have to see this yellow color part touch all these three lines. It touch y-axis, it touch gx, touch fx. So student may ask, why cannot be this bottom area? Because this bottom area touch the x-axis, but the question didn't mention x-axis. So that means the bottom area is not the answer. So now we want to find the area of this in terms of m. That means in my answer, I don't want to see the variable h. So we have to find out what is h. So to do this, this is a straight line. And this straight line passes through A, B, and C. So the gradient of AB is equal to the gradient of AC because they are on the same line. So we just have to equate these two gradients together and use these three coordinates to form the equation, and you can find out what is the value of h. And after you have found out what is the value of h, you can spend 1 second to quickly check whether this value makes sense in the graph. That means you see h is equal to 4 and here is 8, here is 4. That means makes sense. If let's say you calculated your answer h equals to 10 and then you put it here, then you know something wrong somewhere because it doesn't make sense. So now after we know that h equals to 4, and also the question already tell you this area is 6 right here. This area is 6. So now to know what is the area of this yellow color part, we just have to take this, the area of this trapezium minus the area under the curve, which is 6. And this will be our answer in terms of m. So to do the answer checking, we just have to make sure the total area of this yellow color part plus 6 plus the green color part, after we total up together, we must get the area of this red color triangle. And I will get 8m equals to 8m. So from here we can see left hand side equals to right hand side. That means our answer of this shaded region is correct. And also from here we can double confirm that our h value is correct, because in this equation only the left hand side involve h, the right hand side only involve m. But in the end we get the same answer left hand side and right hand side. That means our h value is correct. So next question. The length of vector k is 5 units and the direction is opposite with vector 1, -2. So we have to find the vector k. So now the question told you the length of the vector k is 5 units. So I put put it down here, and the direction is opposite. That means you have to put a negative sign in front of this direction. Because for example, look at this vector v. If let's say going up is vector v, if I want to let this area to go down, it will become negative v. So the same thing here. Now, going up is 1, negative 2. Going down will be negative 1, 2. You just have to flip the positive and negative sign. So now, vector k is another line, and this line is parallel with this line. And since they are parallel line, you must put a coefficient in front of this direction, because this is the concept of parallel. You should know this concept. This is in your syllabus. So the concept of parallel, for example, if AB is parallel to DE, that means AB equals to MDE. This is a coefficient. So the same thing, this line is parallel with K, that means you have to put an A in front of this direction. So to get the value of A, I use this information. The length of K equals to 5, and I will get the value of A. So we accept the positive answer. So you substitute A equal to sub 5 into this equation, and you will get vector K. So to do the answer checking, you just use the reverse thinking method. You substitute the value of A into this magnitude, and you should get back 5, which is given in the question. So next, ship X left port O when the sea was calm. So the starting point of X is 0 because they left from the origin. So this is the velocity of X. So now at the same time, ship Y left port P with velocity of this, and given that the position vector of port P is this, that means Y start from this point. So the starting point of Y is this, and the velocity of Y is this. So now after T hours, the position vector of X is this one. So find the position vector of Y at that time. So the position vector is actually the starting point plus how far it moves away from the starting point. So for example, for X, the starting point is 0, 0. So you just have to take 0, 0 plus how far it moves away from 0, 0. How far it moves away from the starting point. We are actually finding distance, right? So distance equals to time multiplied by velocity. So to find the position vector of Y, so we take the starting point plus the distance, which is time multiplied by velocity. So this will be our answer. So for this question, it's quite straightforward. Actually, you just put T into this equation. So nothing to check for this question. You just have to make sure you understand it correctly. So next, hence find the time when ship X meet with ship Y. So to do this, you just have to imagine when X and Y, when they meet together, that means they are at the same place. They are at the same point. So the position vector must be the same. So we just have to equate the position vector of X and the position vector of Y. So the position vector of Y, this is the answer that we get before here. And the position vector of X after T hours, this one is given in the question before. And then we do the comparison. You can choose whether you want to compare the first line or the second line. So here I compare the first line. After comparison, I found that T equals to 2.5 hours. So to do the answer checking, we just have to compare another line, and we will get back the same answer, 2.5. Alright, so why for these two lines we will get the same value of T? Because the question already tell you X will meet with Y. So if they meet, that means for these two lines you will get the same answer. There is another case where you will get different answer of T after comparing these two lines. So they can ask the question in another way, which is they want you to determine whether X will meet with Y or not. If they meet together, give the position vector where they meet. So to determine whether X meet with Y or not, you just have to do the same step. After you're comparing both lines, you will notice that the first line and the second line, you will get different value of T. So from there, you already proved that they didn't meet. If you get same value of T, then you prove that they meet. So if they want you to find when they meet, what is the position vector, you just have to substitute 2.5 into either left hand side or right hand side, and you will get the position vector. You will get the same answer. So next question. It's given that vector A equals to this and vector B equals to this. If A plus B equals to this, find find the value of P and Q. Okay, so very straightforward. You just have to plus A and B together and I will get 4, 3. So now I just do the comparison between these two. So I compare and then I will get the value of P and Q. So to do the answer checking, we will use the reverse thinking method. So I just substitute the value of P and value of Q into this vector and then you should get back 4, 3. So I show here. So this is how you should check your answer during your exam to detect any careless mistake that you made. Alright, so don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm the Sun. Have a nice day.